TopLobsta Productions.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago, for we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day.
What the fuck? That's the wrong one. God damn it. Hold on a second. That's Nancy. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Raven. Thank you guys for tuning in on this lovely Thursday night. We got a lot of content to get into. Actually, no, we don't have a lot of content to get into. We only have one thing to talk about, and that is the fallout. Not the fallout, but I guess the sigh of relief now that we're done with this this debate with Timothy Aberino. A lot of you guys got to see that episode. That's live on Patreon. It'll be live to the general public very soon. We've got a lot of fascinating feedback about it. I'm not gonna lie. It's people are passionate. They're not unmoved by the episode. I'm not gonna bother pulling up the stuff, guys. But if you want early access to the episode, it'll be out soon. But still, it does exist right now. Patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad. Sign up there, and I mean, it's a cool community that's developing. You'll gain access to the Telegram, and it is a busy place. Patreon has not, and it's not just because that's where our paid supporters are, but Patreon has become my favorite place to interact with people. I don't know if a lot of you have noticed, I've taken a step back from Twitter because it's not interesting to me anymore. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'll be back. Who knows? Maybe I'll be back one day. But right now, Patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad is a bustling, is that a real word? Community of dangerous retards. And we just added a couple of fun people to it, by the way. Fringe, after our last episode, is up on there. And you can see that episode, which I think was infinitely more valuable to people who are interested in disclosure, trying to understand how to navigate disclosure, that being alien disclosure, than the previous episode was, which was the debate with Timothy Aberino. Like I said, all that's up there. Karen Wilkinson is also on there. And so, there's a lot of fascinating people to communicate with on the Patreon. It's a really cool community. I highly recommend checking it out. Also, we're going to do early dibs of tickets to Bohemian Grove are going to be on there. I'm having trouble. This is the first I'm saying of it. I've called 3 different venues in my area, and all of them basically say the same thing, that they're only catering to, they don't want that many people from out of state. If it was a Villages, which is where we are, where I'm guamming at you live from the Standard Coffee Shop and Casino and NDS Studios / fabrication shop here in Lady Lake, Florida. And Lady Lake, the Villages, it's Disney World for retirees. And these places, these venues are saying, we don't actually do events like that for people out of town. So now I'm kind of in a pickle because I don't want to make you guys drive really far. I don't want you to come here for this VIP day here in the Standard Coffee Shop with me and with Matt and with Top and with Ed Mabry and Laura Baker and all these people, and then make you drive, some sizable distance to a near venue. So I'm trying. I really want to get it done this week. It's important, actually, that I get it done this week because it's January and we only have till March. I am praying on it, John. Thanks for asking. Yeah, that is what I'm doing because, I'm just a lowly retard trying to puppeteer this thing. I'm wondering if all else fails, if we keep this really small. And what I mean by that is the Standard Coffee Shop has a capacity of like 73 people. I don't want to do that. I mean, our last event, I think, had closer to 300 people. But then again, we're not exactly doing what we did last time. Maybe that makes sense when you're having, all these comedians and such. This is something different. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But either way, whatever we do, patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad is going to be the place to do it. Say hi, Nance.
Hello.
Nancy's here with me tonight, which is fun. I always like having company. I think we're just going to jump straight into it, and that is the documentary. I mean, I'm sorry, the documentary. The what the hell do you call this thing? A debate. One of those words with the D word. So a lot of you on Patreon, and sound off with your thoughts, and we'll try to pick at the chat and see what you guys think. Saw the debate with Alberino, 2 hours, 40 minutes, something like that. So it was a lengthy thing. Wasn't short. And Alberino was gracious with his time. He came on and he did this thing. I'm sure he had his thoughts, his reservations about coming on and having this conversation with us, especially given that it was preceded by what, 2 months of me dressing like Indiana Jones and making up silly nicknames for him. Timothy Aberino tuna. I made a Timothy Aberino tuna melt meme. It was just on and on and on. It didn't stop. And you guys can see by the thumbnail where I'm dressed up as Indiana Jones, which, by the way, I think I earned that hat and I earned that whip. And I'm outrunning a boulder that has cat ears and a cat face on it. So there was some attempts to slip some inside jokes in there, which none of which he appreciated. I made a little cat joke in the middle of it. He tried to ignore it. Maybe he didn't hear it. It was a little bit chaotic at some points. One of the things that you guys didn't get to see is when it started, I said, how am I going to receive Alberino when he comes in? No, David didn't get his haircut. David just has I don't know, just some shit in my, hey, Kingdom in Context in the chat. He said, I wanted to be in that convo so bad, not for the day, Indiana, but for the discussion of aliens. Yes, well, it's not too late, and the way things have kind of panned out with the guests that we've scheduled, we're going to kind of go on a parade of hammering disclosure. And like I said, the very next thing that we did was we talked to Fringe, which was a fantastic episode. Fringe being an actual experiencer of alien abduction, and also very intelligent, very sharp, well-researched, embedded in this conversation surrounding UAPs on X. She's a loud voice, firsthand experience, lots of good information, and she's helping to guide people to God. Because at the end of the day, despite what Timothy Aberino said on the documentary, there are only two sides in this. You are either for God or against God. And I don't mean people, I mean these entities. Alberino said there's neutral. He said there was a neutral party, to which I said, Jesus says, if you're not with me, you're against me. Whoever's not with me is against me. Thereby, if you think you're neutral, you're not. That didn't really matter. We just moved on from that. He didn't address that. All right, so one of the things that happened before the show started that was kind of fun was I was like, how am I going to receive? I want him to feel not so combative. I don't want him to think that we hate him, because that's definitely not the case. So when he came in to the green room, I hit I don't have the thing, Indiana Jones music, do, 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 do. And I said, there he is. Dude, he was immediately just stale face. And I was like, maybe he didn't hear it. Maybe he didn't hear the charming Indiana Jones music. And I said, hey, brother, how you doing? Thanks for coming. And he didn't respond. I said one other thing, and then he hit me with, are you talking to me? And I was like, fuck, man. So things immediately off to a weird rocky start. Blappity blap blap says he looked hungover. I don't know if that's true. It is earlier in Montana, 9 a.m. When that show started. So maybe, he's still shaking off some of them sleepies. Could well be. I'm a little bit different in my morning show than I am in my evening show. I'm a little bit sharper, I like to think, in the evening. So could have been it. And then one of the things that happened immediately as soon as we started was he goes, he didn't stick around after the show, which, by the way, guys, kind of broke Matt's heart. Matt, big fan of Alberino. He's the guy that provided me with the DVDs. He's been a fan of his research and his media pieces for, a decade. And Kingdom in Context says, I thought you guys were going to go to blows over the Patreon paywall comments. it was a little bit silly because this is what I think was happening. And I'm not trying to paint the guy in a negative light. It's just he's no stranger to debates. I don't debate. I think it's gay. This wasn't really a debate, despite how it was packaged. I had an accusation, a pointed accusation that I think I'm glad that I got out and I articulated well, and I put it in a way that was hard to, kind of squeeze out of. Matt is the real victim here. This is true. It's a sad thing. He did watch one of his heroes bounce after his heartfelt prayer. So what the hell was I saying? That he didn't stick around. Oh, and that I did get him with the pointed accusation. I don't know, how much I got him. I'm just glad that I was able to articulate it. But I think what he was doing, since he's so keen on debate, was like, as soon as the show starts, I could see that it would be advantageous for you to put your opponent on the defensive, which is what he did. He immediately had us explaining ourselves and defending ourselves, in that he wasn't aware that this was a 20-minute preview and that it was going to go to Patreon, and we were just going to basically what we do is we just put a clip, like a salacious clip at the front end of it. So that, when it opens before the music even plays, you go, whoa, what the fuck is going on? And then you stick around, which I think is necessary because you're going to have to stick around through 45 fucking minutes of what is a demon. 45 minutes of what is a demon. So I got to give you something right off the jump that's going to make you go, I got to stick around to see this part. And that part doesn't come in. So anyway, so he goes, I didn't know that this was going to happen. You're not going to release this? We said, no, of course we're going to release this. He goes, so you're not going to release this, something to that effect. And it's like, really, it's tight for a second there, which is, like I said, advantageous. You want your opponent defending. You know why? Because now I have to fight to get back to neutral. So the last thing that I want to do is agitate the situation and bring it further into negative. So you've brought yourself some levity, a little bit of time. I'm not saying this is definitively what he was doing, but what I am saying is it is the result of what he was doing. Whether or not he was aware of it is a different story. So you get me defending. Now we can't go aggressive. I've got to get you back to neutral. I've got to massage the situation because, God, we just started this show. And then immediately after we finally massage the situation and get back to neutral, he's like, I'm going to ask you a question. And I said, no, you're not asking questions here. I am. And I just wanted to set the stage because, this debate was dressed up like a clown. And I did that. And I'm happy that I did. And one of the things that I used to dress it up was this idea that aliens are demons, which is, reductive and it's non-nuanced and it's a blanket statement. And of course, it's not really true in the strictest sense. Is it the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim all the time, every time? No, probably not really. But I said, let's start with this. How are you defining demon? Guys, 45 fucking minutes later. And I'm going, whoa, this is not good. Not because I've lost control of the situation, because this is boring as fuck. Boring as fuck. I didn't dress up like Indiana Jones to be bored. I didn't make content with whips so that I could be bored. I didn't come up with funny names like Timothy Aberino so that I could be bored. And I'm like bleeding in my head. And by the way, Curtis V says it. Still not sure what a demon is. For fuck's sake, man. Even after all of that, I don't know what a lot of the points that he made. And this is another thing that I suspect is a debate tactic. I'm not saying definitively there's no way to know what goes on in the mind of Alberino. But I will say that if you go on a fucking filibuster for every question, it becomes a lot harder to ask you other questions. And then if you make 72 points in the fucking filibuster, it becomes hard to address a single point. So it was kind of slipping away. Yes, Z-Man, by the way, the package is here. And I'm gonna open it up at some point. I hope it's something I could open up on the show. Z-Man sent something. I don't know what it is. There's a big brown box here at my feet. It's kind of weighty. I love that, though. I do love showing up to this place, and it's like, there's packages for me. It really upsets Matt. He's like, you just fucking own the place now. I'm like, yeah, dude. If you ask me what demons are, I'm going to say, okay, for the sake of this argument, let's go with the Book of Enoch's definition. A demon is the disembodied spirit of a dead Nephilim. Its spirit doesn't ascend. It doesn't go to heaven. There's no redemption for it. It's stuck here in a sort of limbo. You might call it the spiritual realm. I don't fucking know. Apparently that's a no-no too. The end. How long did that take, guys? It took him 43 minutes. 43 minutes. He is a wizard of words. It's incredible, his ability to go on and on and on. What's really remarkable, though, is that we have done how many episodes of Nephilim Death Squad? A lot, all right? 200 plus, maybe we're closing in on 300. I don't know. People typically make concise points. The chat and myself will oftentimes, very oftentimes, come away understanding the point of view of the guest. Disagreeing or agreeing isn't the point here. We just understand, oh, I see where he's coming from. Oh, I see what he thinks and why he thinks that. Is he wrong? Is he right? That's up to the viewer to decide. It's not us. It's not. I don't know what he thinks. Z-Man says, can he see the chat? I don't know because he was looking down a lot. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think there's a certain amount of stimuli you get visually. And when you're trying to go on a fucking 43-minute tangent just defining a demon, you need every resource at your disposal possible. So you kind of close your eyes or look down, and then you get into your flow state. So I think he was kind of doing a lot of that. I rarely saw him look up. He can see the chat. Every guest can see the chat, but you can just click on and it makes it go away. No eye contact, autistic. I don't know if that's the case, blappity blap blap. You know, it's just an observation, which is fine because sometimes when I talk, unless I'm really trying to lock in and I really got something to say to you, I might look a little bit over you or above if I'm pulling information out of the ether. He was staring at his desk harder than Matt stares at the chat. Yeah, I don't know. It was bizarre. What was really sad was just watching Matt's the light leave his eyes. The light leave Matt's eyes. I mean, Matt watched his DVDs for the last decade. He showed his family his DVDs. And Alberino, led the way for guys like me and guys like Top and guys like Matt. So it was disappointing. And like I said, after Matt did the prayer, you know what's funny? I told him, I said, when we first started the show, before he even came into the thing, I said, don't glaze him. And Matt goes, what do you mean, dude? I'm like, just don't glaze him. Don't do the, hey, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate you. Big fan of your work. I said, don't do that. And that's not typically my bag. I'm not going to do that to somebody. But I knew that Alberino wasn't the kind of guy that you could make fun of for 2 months. And then when he shows up, be like, hey, dude, I love you. I love when you do megalithic structures and the way that you outran the boulder and how you knew that if you put a pouch with the same amount of weight as the totem that you were removing, it wouldn't set off the trap. Really big fan of the way you did those things. That it would mostly be perceived as weakness. And so I advised against him doing that. And by the end of it, he was like, okay, I fucking see why you advised against me doing that. And it wasn't like, I don't have a lot of experience with Albert. I just felt like, yeah, dude, you don't fucking make fun of a dude. You don't dress like him and call him, gay and all these things and then be like, I fucking love you, man. But that is not to say that I don't have a great appreciation for his work. Watching those documentaries, True Legends, I was really thoroughly impressed and very much in alignment with what him and Tom Horn and Steve Quayle were saying. I became aware of Alberino through, Still Reserve though. Still Reserve said he got you in the beginning. Did you watch the clip we made? It's fucking hilarious. I don't know if I have time to bring it up, but maybe I can find it. It's a little rude. But Laney made it, and Laney's just a master of catching comedic moments and then framing them the right way. Hold on a second. Where the fuck is here it is, production room. This is very funny. This is very funny. So what I think it was Still Reserved that said that is referencing is that he basically alluded to me dressing like a homosexual Indiana Jones, which is a little bit ironic because I'm dressing like him, and and he definitely dresses like a homosexual Indiana Jones. I don't even think that's necessarily insulting to say. I think it's really cool when he does that. Not many people are allowed to walk around in public looking that way, wearing the Wakanda necklace and shit. Here, let's put this on the stage. This is very fucking funny. Hold on a second. Oh, wait, I probably got to put the volume on, right? And this is unfair because I will say that the debate ended amicably, and we've not stopped the kind of poking fun. But I don't think it's mean-spirited. I don't think that it's fair that he has such a stranglehold on a cool outfit. I would also like to...
Well, I have never...
Let me just make sure. Can you guys hear this? Before I go any further, can you guys hear this? Solid burn.
We can hear it.
Okay, good, great, awesome. Let me pull it back then, because I just didn't want to fucking... There's been so many times where I've done that. It's like nobody can hear shit or see shit, and I'm just enjoying it by myself. All right, here we go. I don't think that it's fair that he has such a stranglehold on a cool outfit. I would also like to...
Well, I have never dressed up as a homosexual version of Indiana Jones as you are right now. So.
I'm sorry. I just think that's so funny. I didn't think about that. I literally looked at that and said, damn, I got burned. And then Lainey was like, no, I don't think so. I mean, it is remarkable to say that you don't dress like a homosexual Indiana Jones when that is specifically what you do. And I love it. And I'm a big fan of it. Kingdom Context says, how did you get him on since he acted too repulsed the entire time? Well, so I think that our reputation as assholes and retards precedes us. And I would say that's probably justified. If you don't watch our content, you don't realize that, in my estimation, it's actually pretty thoughtful. And yeah, we're silly geese, and yeah, we say obtuse shit, but if you don't watch the content and you just see our Twitter personas, you think probably that this is a layup. And look, I don't know that it wasn't a layup. I feel really good about how it went, and I'm in an echo chamber, so everybody in the chat is saying that it went really well, and they're saying everything that I think that I'm seeing. But you got to admit, we're all aligned now, right? I mean, you guys understand us really well. You understand me. You understand Top. You understand Matt. You've been watching this for a long time. And so I wouldn't be surprised if your senses of humor and your perception are pretty linked up to ours. So I'm just saying, in that context, I could well be in echo chambers. But either way, I don't think he got the crass retards that he was hoping he was going to get. I think this was going to be another feather in his hat when it comes to the topic of dismissing those who say this phenomenon is demonic. And look, now that we're there, that was perhaps the crux of what I had hoped to establish, was this picture. I was trying to paint a picture, and what it was is like, you're a guy who's worried about the Antichrist coming from disclosure. Disclosure is here, and the only mention of Christianity is a flippant dismissal of those who stood in the way of progress by calling aliens demons or devils. And then I look over to you, and you are flippantly dismissing people constantly who say that this phenomenon is demonic or that aliens are demons. And I said, that's really strange, because at the top of the show, he's talking about being grounded in the gospel. And I did do this at one point on the show. I went and did a keyword search on his Twitter page. He didn't like this. And if you type in, and anybody can do this, so if you're listening right now and you just go to Alberino's Twitter, you'll see this is the case. You say demons, and there's a lot of shit is coming up. It's all kinds of, what is a demon? Aliens aren't demons. Demons are this. This is not what's happening. Yada, 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 yada. And there's a lot of posts about it. And I've heard him elaborate, by the way. We watched on this show, the people in this chat watched along with us, his review of the documentary Age of Disclosure, where he outright says there are those who are calling this phenomenon demons or demonic, and they are misguided. So that fleshes out a little bit more of just that position that he has. Like, okay, so you've spent a lot of time saying this. I've heard him say it on Blurry Creatures. I've seen him tweet it. If you type in the keyword, you're going to see him tweet it. Now let's type in gospel. And all you have to do is look at it anytime he mentions the gospel. And there's only one single post in a very short list of posts mentioning the gospel where he uses it in the same sentence as extraterrestrials. And all he has ever seen fit to say on his Twitter is that extraterrestrial life does not disprove the gospel, which is true. And I would agree with that. But it paints a weird picture. Why are you echoing the same fucking sentiments as Age of Disclosure? Why are you championing Age of Disclosure? And then he tried to do a little bit of, I don't know what you would, maybe straw manning. He would paint a position of ours that didn't exist. He would say things like, you're conflating the crashed recovery project with other things. And at some point, I literally had to say, I don't give a shit about the crashed recovery project or any of these things. What I care about is grounding people in the gospel, which is hilarious. It's what he told me at the top of the show that I needed to do. And then by the latter half of the show, it was like, where are you doing that? But grounding people in the gospel and saving them from this great deception. So, ultimately, the whole thing was a little bit strange because, like I said, I came away not necessarily knowing his points. He spent a long time telling us that angels were almost entirely symbolic, or the supernatural things that happen in the Bible are symbolic, or the spiritual realm, that it doesn't exist. There is no realm of spirit, and that it only happens in the heads, in the minds of the prophets, and that this is something that's exclusive to the brain. And then he starts talking about near-death experiences, and I say, well, what about near-death experiences where people are clinically brain dead and there's no longer a firing of electrical synapses in their mind, they're clinically brain dead, and yet when they're brought back, they have all of this experience to share while their brain was dead. And then he said, consciousness is local to the body. It's tethered to the body in some way. And it was just, and he kept using a lot of language that was suggesting that effectively what he was saying is the science is settled. The science is settled. And I was just like, fuck, man. This sounds like COVID, but with something very intangible. This is something, Top did. He literally went to the bathroom and then came back, and it was like, you didn't miss anything at all, dog. But it's weird because something that would have been laughed at by the majority of the greater scientific community 10 years ago, and still is, it's considered pseudoscience. He's intellectualizing it to such a degree and claiming that, for example, he said that all alien abductions happen in the physical. All of them. Which is really strange. That's simply not, he's like, it's settled. Thousands and thousands of abductee testimony tell us that this is all a physical phenomenon. Because people get abducted and they get impregnated and they get scarification and they get implants in their skin. And then the very next episode that we talk to Fringe, who confirms as an experiencer, no, sometimes this shit happens in an astral realm, which, God forbid, we don't even know how to define fucking an astral realm. Because according to him, the spiritual realm doesn't exist. There is no realm, I think, is what he was saying. And this is a lot of the problem is I'm eager for people to see this because it was like an odyssey to go through. To have a man on a show who's a wealth of knowledge, like I said, pave the way for guys like us, have him on for 2 hours and 40 minutes and be pretty unsure about his position on everything that he said. weird. And like, look, albeit I'm a retard, I like to think that my job is understanding people and engaging in dialogue that is, it has a flow to it. There's a story unfolding. What do you mean, realm? Have you ever been? But it has a story to it, and you know, we like what's the word I'm looking for here? Progression, maybe is a good way to describe, you know, when a person comes on. Like, for instance, we have Fringe on now. We're dealing with something that's very intangible and difficult to understand and multifaceted, but we start off with her experiences, and then we get into this, what's happening on the world stage as far as UFO disclosure, and how do your experiences give you insight to that? And then she goes on and she says that the things that they're talking about with the divine feminine are things that she's had personal experiences with, and here's what they are in her estimation, and this is why they're bad. Very linearity. Maybe that's the word that I was looking for. Check DMs. Okay. Linearity is the word that I'm looking for. Everything is typically very linear. Why on earth should we have a guy on that is, you know, just this, I think we showed this top. Yeah, we showed this one. We showed this before. You must have just hopped in. He sent that video of him clearly dressed like a gay Indiana Jones. So yeah, I mean, it was weird, man. Sean Zellaram says maybe he realized during the convo that he doesn't know and started talking in circles as a defense. Well, see, that's a lot of what I began to suspect, is that a lot of this was classic debate techniques in order to minimize the amount of questioning that can come your way. And I think, like I said, we ended amicably. There was some sort of like, we came together on something, you know, the divine feminine deception, if that's what you want to call it. We came together on that. We mocked that a little bit. But I think, you know, generally speaking, the move was get into the minutia of things that are really hard to prove. And so arguing about them is it's the verbal equivalency of quicksand. If we start arguing about some of these, you know, unprovable, do angels have wings? We're going to be here for fucking ever. Right? And that's kind of the point. The point is to, you know, get us lost in the weeds on shit, so there's a less of a likelihood. So to tell you the truth, when I framed my big question, which is, this is what Age of Disclosure is doing, and this is how they're painting Christianity. They're planting a seed of doubt so that Christians basically won't be part of the conversation because they'll be seen as in the way of progress. And the way that they're doing it is the same way that you've been doing it. Did I curse? And I asked him about that, and I don't know what his response was. I don't remember. I don't know what he said. That's what's been weird about this. I am not going to watch it back. It's not happening. I won't do that. I've been swearing. I've been swearing this whole time. I didn't realize. I'm not going to watch it back. That seems like absolute torture. And for the people who haven't seen it or heard it, I do recommend it because through the lens, and that's a little bit unfair, I'll admit. I've now created a lens for you to see this thing through, which is, it creates a bias, which is, you know, kind of fucked up. But I'm just sharing my thoughts with you. And I don't know, maybe if I'm eager to hear the voices of people who say that's not what I saw and that you guys were wrong, because I want to see if there's any veracity to that, because overwhelmingly everybody is saying the same thing. Matthew Hepner, I don't know if that's actually Matt, says it's not cursing if it's not directed at somebody. Well, what does the Bible say about curses? So yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what he said. I don't know what his response was to that accusation. I know by the end of it, he saw fit to say like, I'm not on Team Deception, which like maybe okay, Joketown's here. That's not me. So that's what you get for not using your name. You know, that was a weird little. I mean, I guess maybe I did accuse him of being on Team Deception and not so many words. He felt interrogated. I felt fucking MK Ultra'd. What I did was I allowed him, and this is what people are not going to see when they watch it. They're not going to see us like arguing and fighting. They're not going to see us not allowing him to get a thought across. I'm sorry, I read that at the same time. Open. We allowed him to get too many thoughts across. Turtle Island says, Top Raven, are you familiar with Matthew LaCroix? That's my favorite drink. He's another voice in essence saying the same thing as albacore tuna. I would love to know what that is, though. What is that? Maybe just the fact that, you know, Christians are standing in the way with this misguided estimation of demonic, or this misguided notion of demonic. It was fucking weird, dude. Oh, that's why I have been cursing. Joketown says, your main point is that he's not promoting the gospel. Then he said, I am not on Team Deception. He made that connection. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. We'll see what the chat has to say about it. But in the meantime, I'm going to open up this box. It's a little heavy. This box from Z-Man. Matt's shop has become our glorified P.O. box, among other things. Our fab shop, our casino. I wonder what this is. So if there's anything you want to send, as long as it's legal and not ooh. Wow. What is this? First off, oh, I've seen this. This is a type of mayo that I've seen in the in the supermarket, but I've never picked it up. Kewpie?
Japanese mayo.
Is it better than regular mayo?
I think so.
All right. Well, it's got vegetable oil, canola oil, and soybean oil. So I look forward to the masticization of my tits. But I am a big fan of mayo, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. But this is very funny. Z-Man, when the hell did I say this to you? Was this back in like Timeline Cleanse? Best mayo in the game. I didn't know that this was a flavor. I have a case now of Arizona iced tea, but specifically the blueberry flavor. When did we have this? Ignore the ingredients. Blueberry white tea. It says all natural flavors. I love how it says all natural flavors. Like that's a fucking. I hate mayo. That's all for me. I'm taking that home, dude. I'm taking that home. Also, Scott, if Scott's around, I need more hot dogs, dude. I would really appreciate it if you find it in your heart to send me more hot dogs. We're out. I didn't know that Arizona iced tea had a blueberry white tea flavored. No, you don't get the drinks. By the way, Top is in New York City right now, which there's no shortage of Arizona iced teas in any of those bodegas, dude. Just go ahead, walk yourself into one of those hellholes and try not to get stabbed by the blacks and have yourself an Arizona iced tea. I'm actually excited. I'm going to try for the first time an Arizona blueberry white tea. I did not know this was a flavor. Did we argue about this, Z-Man? Because I don't remember much of this conversation. That smells really good. All right. Yeah, that's really fucking good. That's really fucking good. Let's read the ingredients. High fructose corn syrup, pear juice flavor from concentrate, blueberry juice from concentrate, honey, natural flavors, citric acid. It's actually not that bad. Vegetable juice for color, ginseng root extract. All right, it's actually not that bad. High fructose corn syrup, sure. It's the devil or whatever, but could be worse. Not a single color followed by a number. So that's impressive. No red dye 40 or yellow dye 27 or what the fuck. Thank you, Z-Man. These will go to good use. What will Timothy think about what? Damn, Toppy's still here. Those weren't for him. Those are for me. They had my name on it. Top's name was nowhere on there. I'm almost tempted to try this mayonnaise. Keep it a dry, cool place. Unscrew the cap. Caution, contents might splatter on your clothes. Oh, that's sexy. So, thank you very much, Z-Man. Your camera is blurry. It's not blurry, you shit. Speaking of blurry, I'm now like very confused because Alberino is sort of Blurry Creatures' #1 guy. And I thought that Blurry Creatures was sort of built off of, I mean, obviously a foundation of Christ or Christian, but Mike Heiser. And so he actually says outright that he disagrees with Mike Heiser in the sense of the unseen realm. Does Matt have a Timothy Cappuccino on the menu? Well, Matt was going to have a Timothy Cappuccino, but after this show that we did. And it just went so badly. You know, for those of you that watched, it was a heartfelt prayer at the end. It's very long. Matt talks to God in a Californian accent. A lot of kind of a dude bro thing, which is fine. You know, you talk to God the way you talk to people, I think. You know, obviously you have reverence, but I don't believe you put on some fake shit. You don't start speaking in Latin. So in that, there's nothing wrong with that. But it was long and it was thoughtful, and it was very Cali. It says Qui-Gon. And then he didn't stick around after that. And it broke his heart. But I don't think that was so much of a nasty thing to do as much as it was just like, I think he actually might have been on Ninjas or Butterflies later on that day. Do you want to hear something funny? I did try to get him to meow. ML. I did. I like Matt. Thanked God that Top wasn't nasty. Yeah. Top bit his tongue a lot. And I think it's because, one, he knew that I had a very specific bone to pick with Alberino, so he wanted to give space for that to happen. And he also knew that he's going to get dragged into the weeds on a bunch of shit because this guy just went 43 minutes on What is a Demon. So Top was very calculated in that one. And I think we all were. I think we were all really calculated because it was a weird episode. But a really funny contrast was, hold on, I got to see what somebody said here. He was on another podcast later sounding salty. Which podcast? It wasn't the Blurry Creatures. I mean, not the Blurry Creatures. The Ninjas or Butterflies guys, right? I don't think so. But he goes on Ninjas or Butterflies. And look, I'm not saying that those guys did anything wrong here. I'm just saying, especially because they didn't have any contention with him. They're just having a conversation with him like we did once upon a time. Actually, even in that episode 30 or whatever it was, we still did butt heads with them on the very same topic, virtually, at least with aliens and demons. But they wrote him a song, which they do, I think, for all their guests, but they sang him a song and fucking, I couldn't watch it, but it's just like you come here and he didn't say amen. Oh, that's fucked up, dude. He didn't say amen after the fucking after the prayer.
He didn't.
That's so crazy. I don't know why that's extra. That's a huge foul to me. That's a huge trespassing. Matt pours his heart out. And he's talking to the Lord, and in that moment, aren't we all? Like, that's what we're doing. I've got my eyes closed, and I'm considering what Matt is saying and who he's saying it to, and I'm along with him. You know, I'm grateful in this moment, and I agree with everything that Matt's saying. How could you not say amen after that, dude? That's fucking crazy. Oh my God. But yeah, so then he gets off that, and then he goes and gets a fucking song written about him. Timothy seemed like he had thin skin. I actually don't think he had thin skin. I thought he handled it very well. Because, and this is what's really funny. It's like Ninjas or Butterflies is a very big show. And you go there and you get glazed, which is, whatever. I'm not saying that they did anything wrong. They write a song for all their guests. But he goes there and basks in it, yes. But before that, he comes on our show where these three dudes were all fucked up looking and shit. Like NDS is a wide range of looks between me, Top, and Matt. And, as far as you're concerned, you see us on Twitter and we're, slinging racial slurs and doing all kinds of shit. And then you come to have a conversation with us and it's a fucking fight, dude. It's a struggle session. I just think that's funny, like the contrast in those two things. By the way, speaking of big shows, W's in the chat, guys. We just crossed the line. We are in the top 0.5% of podcasts, of audio podcasts. I don't have a button for that, but pretend there's some, cheers and some rounds of applause. What the fuck? Oh, shit. I didn't know we had that. Thanks, Nancy. Yeah, dude, that's very cool. I don't know when we crossed that line, but I just had a peek over at this big like podcast tracker. And yeah, 0.5%, top 0.5%. So there are like 3 million podcasts in the world, and we made it to the top 0.5%, which is still, I think, a pretty big fucking pool, honestly. It's definitely in the thousands, so it's not like we're in a small pool, but we're in a smaller pool than 99.5% of other podcasts. So that's fucking crazy. So yeah, I find it funny because, or not that I find it funny. I wish I could know what he thought it was going to be. Top says we fucked his life up. I don't know. I will say that a lot of people, there's people that are just his fans that are saying, these dudes are retarded. NDS is retarded. This is what they do. They're assholes. And then too retarded to stop, some would say. But then our fans are in there being like, no, dude, they have actually specific things to say, which is you filibustered. You couldn't make a single fucking point about anything, at least that was discernible. And look, I'm willing to entertain the idea that he's just so much smarter than me. I think that's what happens when you get your palms on a megalithic structure. You download some of that intellect of the ancients. So he might be, he might have transcended the intellect of somebody like myself to the extent that I couldn't understand what he was saying. It is highly possible, even a bit likely, but I like to think I do a good job of understanding where people are coming from and what they're trying to say. And I don't know what the fuck he said about most of what he said. And I was on 3 Alpha Brain. Fuck, that's all placebo. That's not even real shit, but still, I mean, it's the point that counts. Raven needs to go hump the Jew wall before Alberino comes on again. Yeah, I think I need some rabbis in my corner. Whatever he's got going on, I need some of it. I want to be able to speak on such a high level that like nobody understands what I'm saying. And isn't that kind of interesting too? It's like Matt was saying something fascinating. He was talking about a philosopher who became a Christian. And he said something to the effect, and Matt, if you're still here, tell me the name of that guy, or you can even comment exactly what it was. I'm going to butcher this, but it was more like, it was along the lines of this guy coming to a realization that philosophy's job is to make even the simplest of things seem incredibly complicated. And a pastor's job is to take something very complicated and complex and make it understandable. And I think that it is kind of our job. Not like we're pastors or anything like that. I'm just saying it is our job to take these complex ideas and make them understandable. What value is it to anyone if I just go on a fucking tangent and you can't follow anything that I said and you just come away from it being like, shit, this guy's got words, baby? He's got words. This guy, I don't know what he said, but he's smart. Give me the guy that can take a complex thing. Yeah, he used Marvel movie references as parables. I actually appreciated the Bilbo Baggins reference, and there was another reference that I thought was really good. He referenced two of my favorite films. Big fan of Lord of the Rings. But yeah, rather than the guy that just has so much to say and it just seems to be nothing, give me the guy that can take a complex idea. In fact, I'm aware of a saying that goes something like, if you can't explain something to a child, you don't understand it well enough. Barbosa from Pirates. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I honestly, Pirates of the Caribbean 1 fucking crushes. Show me a motherfucker that doesn't like Pirates of the Caribbean 1, and I will show you a liar. I referenced Stranger Things, and he tried to shoot it down like he didn't mention Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. Okay, all right. Let me check my DMs. Oh, you sent a bunch of stuff? Okay. Oh my God. Why is Top's entire family gathered around the television watching me? This is a nightmare. This is maybe the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to violate the privacy of Top's family, but I have here an image of a family of folks gathered around a television watching me. This is so fucking ridiculous. Okay, you sent a lot of stuff, dude. I don't know what any of it is. Is this is the same thing? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is actually worth playing. It's when he gets upset that we're paywalling it, and he tries to act like he doesn't understand, but I do think that he is fully grasping what's happening because it's not a complicated concept. Show Mama Heavies. No, we're not showing Mama Heavies. We're not going to violate Mama Heavy's privacy here on this show. He says show it. No, I'm not going to fucking do that. It's very funny, though. Yeah, Top has been torturing him today. He has been torturing him today. All right, so we'll show this on screen. Boop. And let's see what this is. So this is, I think, the moment where he just doesn't fucking... It's weird. It's a little clunky. Joining us today is Timothy Aberino. Before we get into the discussion, Tim, let's let everybody know what it is that you do. What is your work focused on?
So you got...
It's funny. Look at him doing little facial expressions of like being flustered. I didn't notice it at the time. But he's like flustered. He's like, what it is that you do. What is your work focused on?
So you guys are only going to publish the first 20 minutes of this and then put the rest of it behind your paywall?
Yes. Yeah, because we're greedy. Hey, you fucking asshole with your Isaac Newton portrait in the background. Why don't you first introduce yourself and then ask some questions, you shit? And we're disgusting.
No, it'll be, we want to give it as much of a chance to get seen as possible. So we're going to polish it up. Nothing will be edited, of course. It'll look a lot nicer.
Yeah. So that was a pretty clear explanation. We're going to release it. We just want to polish it up a little bit, right?
Yeah, only the first 20 minutes are going to be public.
Yeah, you fucking dipshit. What did Top just say? I'm not saying this to be mean. I mean, it's just like, it seems pretty obvious. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he, you know what? He might have thought he walked into like a gotcha. Like, we gotcha. We tricked you. We're going to waste your time and only show this to our Patreon members. I don't know. As if it wouldn't be more beneficial to release this to the greater public, for exposure, if that's what we were trying to get.
Correct?
No.
For now. For about a week, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when we get, it'll all be out.
All right, so you're going to assure me that the totality of this thing can be seen by people for free?
Yes, it will be seen for free. Okay. Everything that happens here will be seen for free. It'll just look a little bit better.
Yeah, less sleepy.
Because it sounded like you were going to just publish the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, you dipshit. We've already gone past that. Introduce yourself. I don't know.
Put the rest of it behind a paywall on Patreon.
Yes. For about 4 to 5 days.
Okay, for a limited period of time. Okay.
Yeah, joining us Christmas. Today. I don't know. I don't think that was real, and I could be reading into a nothing situation. That really isn't that significant. But I do feel like he mentioned the paywall in a tweet again. Yeah, it's in order to get us in a defensive position. If you're in a defensive position, now I have to work to get to neutral. We talked about this before. It's if I'm going to be accusatory to you, but you can get me to start off from a position of having to defend myself when you're the guy who needs to defend himself. I think what you can achieve likely is a much softer accusation. A much softer accusation. So the tweet, Top says, read the tweet. So he says, oh, and this is so greasy that he does this. He tweets to Top and he goes, you are at least planning on releasing the full unedited discussion for free, correct? As if that wasn't entirely established already. That's so funny. Sparrow Bear is in the comments. She goes, yes, Tim, they will. Chill out. We've never done that. And I guess he doesn't know that, but we've never done that. We wouldn't do that. We wouldn't fucking just not release somebody's episode. I do happen to know that, you know, his buddies over there, Blurry Creatures, didn't release episodes. I know of at least 2 people whose episodes they didn't release. I know that they didn't release Karen Wilkinson's episode, which is interesting because her testimony goes in the face of what Alberino's narrative is. And I know of a couple other people whose episodes they didn't release. And I know that I'm not saying that this is why they didn't release them. I don't know what the episodes were about. I just know that those guys are in alignment with us on the UFO narrative. So if that came up, maybe. No, not Merkel. Merkel's not Blurry Creatures. Merkel's the shit. That guy fucking crushes. I don't know why they didn't release the episodes. I just find it strange. We've never done that. Have you ever been behind the paywall? No shit. Kingdom in Context, they didn't release your episode? What the fuck? That is weird, dude. I've never done that. I've never not released an episode. We had a guy on here saying that fucking gay people were beyond redemption, which is something that I totally don't agree with. I'm not putting a limitation on the grace of God and the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. But we still released that episode. So I don't know what it would take, how much your idea has to fly in the face of what we think. We had a guy on who we didn't even know was like into this kind of Gnostic shit. And then midway through, he's like, I don't think Jesus actually died at 33. I think he became like an ascended master at 33. Or like, oh, it's like that. Whatever, dude, just go on. Keep going. Our audience is smart. We're not protecting you from anything. You guys get it, you know. Half our audience knows more shit than we know. So, you know, it's weird. I don't know why the fuck he would do that. Yeah, Reb Sim says Merkel's a homie. Merkel's the man. Love that dude. I have no problems with him whatsoever. In fact, I have the opposite of problems with him. Merkel is a huge part of how I got here. Because after I had my demonic experience and I went out looking for other people who have had similar experiences, I found the confessionals. So, you know, he was instrumental in my development. And to this day is still probably my favorite show. So yeah, man, very strange because the pile of episodes that Blurry Creatures didn't release seems to get larger and larger. I don't know what that is. I don't know why that is. Maybe when you get to like, and I'm trying to just be like, you know, maybe if you get to a size where the show is big enough, you have so many episodes that you're just backlogging, like some of them get lost. Sky is the Limit says, I never heard about Merkel until you said something about him. Yeah, dude, Merkel's like probably the #1 show that I recommend to people. I used to fuck with Tinfoil Hat a lot more, and it's nothing against them. I love Tinfoil Hat, love Sam Tripoli, XG, and Johnny Woodard. It's just now I make conspiracy content. David doesn't answer my calls. I didn't answer one call today, and I wasn't doing anything. I was eating, and I was like, not right now. I'm eating. But I just I make conspiracy content now, so like it's like I don't want to be influenced by other shows, but those 2 shows right there, I would recommend all day. Sam Tripoli's Tinfoil Hat podcast which before I tapered off recently, just given the content I make, was my favorite show for, I don't even know how many years it's been around. Has it been like 7 years or some shit? And then the confessionals. Heyman Rat says, give me your number so you could avoid my calls too, David. At this point, I don't even answer every phone call that I get. It's he took a 4-hour nap today. I didn't take a 4-hour nap today. I took maybe an hour nap. Everybody in my house is a little bit under the weather now, which I'm like, fantastic. My son has been in bed since he got home on his own accord, which is like, show me a 10-year-old that wants to spend all day under the blankets. So I definitely believe he's coming down with something. And then my wife has been under a blanket all day too. And then I got hit with this big bout of exhaustion. In fact, if I wasn't chugging Arizona blueberry white tea and this fucking yerba mate drink, I would probably be very sleepy right now. Found NDS on tinfoil. Dude, I want to talk to Tripoli soon. I really want to have him on the show. Love that dude. It's just hard to book him. Imposter Top is here. Is that what's happening? Shout out to Raven Jr. Yeah, man. He's, like I said, a little under the weather, but I think I'm going to do a show with him soon. I think he would like to do another one. He's been talking about it, so I might do it. Yeah, dude. Qui-Gon says Sam Tripoli has given you guys, a lot of guys, a good head start. He gave us a good head start. That's for sure. That's for sure. That he's one of those guys that I tell people, the general rule of thumb is like, don't meet your heroes. You can meet Sam Tripoli. He's the shit. He's the shit. That dude is a super genuine, good guy. Yeah, very selfless. Yeah. When he talks about abundance and like giving it all away, he's really like that. Which is why it's very funny that you'll see people accuse him of being a gatekeeper. It's like, if anything, Sam Tripoli, if he ever got to the gate, he kept his foot in it, and he's just been there holding it open for other people. He's a real one. NAC is a great detox. You need to take 1,800 milligrams twice a day. Glycine at night will change your life. I mean, I don't have a problem sleeping at night. I be sleeping. I sleep well. My tinfoil tiara says, my brother turned me on to NDS and now I'm all in. Yeah, something happened recently. It might be the he's got Owen blocked. Does he really? I don't like that. But Top has really zeroed in on like this search engine optimization kind of shit. And then we hired some help for the social media, which is the woman that you saw holding the gun to us the other day. And I think that those things have really helped. There's been a big influx of new homies lately, which is very exciting. So who knew if you did all the kind of the cringy shit? I mean, it's kind of cringy. It's kind of not, but like, we could sit here on a podcast and make content for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We could, kill everybody's favorite archaeologist on screen, and that's no problem. But if you sit there and you put a fucking phone in our face and you go, do a TikTok, that's hard. That's hard. Conspiracy Cutie says, I was wearing your NDS hoodie at work the other day, and a customer asked me what it was. Maybe they are watching. Maybe. You guys just little walking billboards. Could be the holidays, too. People telling their families about NDS. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. You get together for the holidays, and you're like, hey, you like psychotic shit? You want to be real? I was going to say, you want to be real upset about the nature of reality? I don't think that's what we do here, though. I don't think that we're not serving up black pills. That's for sure. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get through some voice memos. And then it looks like we'll have enough time to open up the lines tonight for a bit, and you guys can call in and blap it up for a little bit, and maybe share your thoughts on if you saw the Alberino documentary. NDS needs a bumper sticker. We need we don't need a lot of things. We actually have a lot of things. We need to scale up. We need to figure out how to break through like a little bit of a financial barrier to the extent that we can hire employees. That's what we need. And then the sky's the limit. And I think we're actually, it's time to hear from Emily. I don't think she called. I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. We got a lot of fucking voice memos. I guess I do swear a lot, huh? Hit up General Flynn. Yeah, I don't. He and I had a bit of a falling out, and so that revenue stream is dried up recently, and it is because he caught me talking to former Deputy Director Dan Bongo Dongo, and I guess we hadn't really established that we were exclusive. Feelings got hurt. Obviously, Bongo Dongo has fallen from grace. And General Flynn, he doesn't return my phone calls anymore. So we're now looking for new revenue streams. It's okay to cuss. Matt said so. All right, good. We do need some sweet sticker packs. I think we have, I don't know if we have sticker packs. Sleeping around. That I wouldn't call it sleeping around. It's just like, relationship of opportunity showed itself. And I tried to seize the moment. And, but Dan Bongo Dongo has spiraled very recently. Need more stickers. TopLobsta says, need more stickers. Yeah, we do need more stickers. We ran out of the ones in the shop. We've been given. Oh, which reminds me, if any of you guys listening right now are locals, Top is away right now. He'll be back around, I think, Tuesday. If you're any of the people that come by the shop, and there are a lot of them, maybe consider in DMs, check your DMs again. I'll show him the new creation. Yeah, Top made something fucking cool. Next week, consider coming by the shop if you're local and if you're into this idea. Part of the content that we want to make for social media is a man on the street kind of a deal. We just want to ask people a simple question. Have you ever had a supernatural experience? And, it's 4 shorts. It's 4 really short clips on Instagram and Facebook and things like that. So it'll be chopped up. So if you can summarize your story in like 3 to 4 minutes and then it gets chopped down to like a minute long or whatever, if you're interested in sharing that, because I know a lot of you guys do come by. Did you give my stickers out, Raven? They're collector's items. No, I still have them. I still have your stickers, Subliminal Messenger. But yeah, come by the Standard Coffee Shop in Lady Lake. It's the one that's like 1552 Bella Cruz Drive. And if you're here, if you're on Patreon, maybe we'll put the announcement out. We'll say like what time we're going to be looking to do this. Come by and just give us a crashed course in your story. And, at the bare minimum, it'll get turned into some content for like Instagram and shit. So there's that. Okay. Here we go, guys. We're going to play this voice memo. Oh, that's fucking Rumble. Where did we go here? Here we go.
Hey, Raven.
Can you guys hear that? Nancy, can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
John Diaz in the chat, mostly in the Telegram because I never get to catch a show live. But just calling from up here in northern Minnesota. Actually, call me JD if you prefer.
I'm going to call you by your whole, what up, Jonathan Diaz? I'm not going to hyphenate your God-given name, sir. Thank you for calling in, or thank you for the voice memo, Jonathan Diaz from Minnesota. I feel like I doxed you even though you just said your name. It didn't feel good, honestly, when I did that.
But, man, I just had this thought. I was listening to you kind of talk about your issues with the church, and that's unfortunate.
He's talking about where I was unable to not notice the hypnosis techniques being sort of levied against us in church after Ed Mabry explained them on Merkel's show. I realized he was right. And then I started looking through that lens, and I realized there's a lot of them that are like deployed against the people, not against the people, but there's a lot of hypnosis involved. And specifically, it's like the parts that I won't do. And now I understand why I won't do them. I go like, no, I'm not going to touch my neighbor and say, peace be with you. No. Turn to somebody and say you love them. No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm kind of sorry to hear that. And it kind of is adjacent to this thought that I was having about things that Christians might do that are not biblical, that they may be assume are rooted in scripture some way that are in reality ineffective, but given the outward appearance of being effective. And I just kind of wonder about this idea maybe that a person could, and I'm not necessarily saying something like deliverance is a bad thing, the deliverance praying or the deliverance practice or the spiritual warfare stuff. It just kind of seems a bit formulaic to me when there's a series of words that you say in this order and then God has to respond this way, or, you know, and I understand there's like this legalistic aspect of the spiritual universe, but what I'm wondering is your thoughts on the idea that there are some things that Christians are doing that don't actually have a biblical basis, or it's been taken from twisted scripture, taken out of context, that demons respond to in a way to where it does seem like it works. So that when it is time to turn up the heat, when there is a critical moment, you lean on this tactic that is actually ineffective, that actually is impotent, but then it doesn't work. And then these things they just have free reign to get after you. And I'm just wondering about that because I know it happens with certain positive experiences that people have in church, certain quote unquote spiritual experiences that people have.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, you know, down the line somewhere when these things are going to fail on these people and things are going to get real bad. But that's all I got, man. God bless. Take care.
God bless you, brother. Thank you for the voice memo. That's an interesting thought. I mean, there are certainly things within the church that I look at and I'm like, I mean, so at my church, they do the tongues, which we make fun of quite a bit. And honestly, I've come to a place where like, it's not that I don't think tongues don't exist. I'm just pretty comfortable with the idea that what I'm routinely being exposed to is not it. And then that begets sort of a supplementary question of, is it bad that that's happening? I don't know. Is it bad? It's off-putting a little bit. It's also makes me want to make fun of it. But in my heart, I don't at all see it as a reflection on God or anything. So it's kind of like I just push it to the side and every once in a while bring it up for ridicule. The snakes. Yeah, Hicks said snakes. The snake wrangling is interesting. I mean, I listened to somebody who was on Merkel's podcast, this lady who's like she's got a ministry and she was like a meth head and a meth dealer and then she was saved and like I can hear the conviction in her heart and I believe this lady, but I think she does like come on stage, I'm going to make your spine straight in the name of Jesus, which I like, miraculous healings. Yeah, dude. But then like there was a clip that was played from her thing and it's like it feels like black church energy and I'm like, is this really it? I'm not saying it's not it. Like I could hear the conviction in her heart. I could hear that this woman is on fire for the Lord. I believe her stories. She was like just in the worst shit ever, almost dead literally from selling meth to a 1% biker gang. She's got a crazy testimony. But then, like, yeah, we're on stage and we're straightening out spines. But then, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I know that I have a built-in mechanism that makes me recoil at a lot of shit. But then, like, I've told you guys some crazy stories on this show. So I would say one of the ones that seems the most dangerous is where we watched a video on this show of like some pastors in their suits and shit in like a back room, green room type of scenario. And they are like spazzing on the floor and they're doing laughing. That's weird. I don't know what the fuck that is. And I feel like it's a good way to get into some sort of like tantric behavior and catch a spirit. So they're like laughing and like in hysterics. and they're on the ground in the fetal position. These are pastors. So like, yeah, dude, I don't know what I'm looking at with that shit. So yeah, I mean, there is a slippery slope involved. You know, and then with the music thing, like Matt will often say that the music, like obviously music, you think about like King David and what music did to calm the mind of Saul. You know, I think there's really something there. Like music is special, but like the slippery slope there is when it becomes like a concert, and then these people become the stars of the band. Like slippery slope, man. So yeah, I think there are a lot of things that like Christians think are biblical, and they may well be biblical, but like, are they being executed the right way? I don't know. It's really hard to say. I think music is really special, and I could see why the enemy would want to leverage that. Just play the damn organ and ring a bell. I mean, you know, what I do think is like, it would be a shame for the church to not have access to like really beautiful, complex music, right? So like, why should the music industry only have access to like really beautiful, complex music, but the church just gets the organ and the bell? I'm not saying that you can't find beauty in that, but you know, it's like, is God worthy of the upper echelons of musical talent? Yeah, dude. Is that like a special gift that God gives some people? I think so, yeah. And I think when you play music, there are probably things happening in the spiritual realm, or the fucking, you know, the thing that I don't know if it exists, guys, anymore, the spiritual realm. But if it did exist, I would say that there's probably something special happening in the spiritual realm that we can't see with our own eyes here in the physical. And I think that it's almost evident that music is really special, given how much the enemy uses it in the music industry to lead people astray, right? Like, the music industry is satanic. And does that mean music is satanic? No, but it's like, look at how powerful this tool is. Look at how powerful this tool is. You know, so I would say that you see a microcosm of that in the church, where, and I'm not trying to say anything fucked up, but Nancy knows, we showed her one day a recording, and we were like, Nancy, this is the church that we go to. And there was a lady who does the music there, and she fell on her knees, and she just started like in the gap between songs, or like in the low point in the music where it's like, you know, no more vocals, they're just riffing. I don't know what the fuck that's called. She just starts going on a tangent about Jesus. And I'm not saying that that's not good. I'm just saying, like, it was hard for me to escape this feeling that like she was into being the star of the show at that moment.
It was weird. Very weird.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't want to be like super judgmental about a thing that I don't understand, but I understand people. And I can see their flaws there. You know, I got them too. I have a bunch of flaws. Look at me. I'm sitting in this fucking chair talking to you guys. But you know, because my dad wasn't around or some shit. So like, I get it. I don't know. It's a tightrope to walk. We're so fallible and so fucked up. You know, thank God there's redemption for us. But is there things in the church that people think are biblical and that are really doorways, opportunities for the demonic? Yeah. Yeah, there are. And I guess that's why the church is always so messy. You know what's crazy is like I posted this stupid AI slop video on X, and it's up to like 500,000 views or some shit, which is annoying because I will try to say something actually thoughtful from time to time and get like 2 likes and no views. And I post a stupid AI slop video that I thought was like, oh, this is kind of crazy looking. And it gets up to, but it's like of Satan taking selfies. Remember how Epstein was walking through in that other AI video taking selfies with all these different people that are culpable in the whole sexual blackmail shit? Well, this is Satan taking selfies with like all these people that were, you know, Blavatsky and Crowley and all these figures throughout history. And a lot of people are like, you didn't put the Christian church in there. I'm like, I didn't put anything in there. I didn't make any effort to do anything. I just stole a video and posted it, and now I get to reap the rewards. But it's just like so many people are like, you know, you're disenchanted with the church, and then you go like Satan's in the church. Like, no, I don't think that that's true. The church is fucked up. It's always been fucked up because the church is people, and people have always been fucked up. But I can see it. I go there. I know the Holy Spirit's alive there among all these retards. I see it. You know, it's a mess, but I see it. It's still there. The Holy Spirit is in the church. It's still God's house. It's a house built by retards. And yeah, we are the church. David Gallandez says, yes, the church I don't think is a building, but like it is special when you build a thing and you dedicate it to God. I think God loves the things that we build and offer to him, but it's going to be all fucked up. Like I offered Bohemian Grove to God. As weird as that sounds, you know, I think my heart was really changing at the time that Bohemian Grove was happening. And I'm like, I don't know what we're doing, Lord, but like, this is yours, because Bro Grove came from NDS, and NDS is built on Christ. And even though we're a bunch of psychopaths, it's still built on Christ. And so this thing that is a product of NDS is in fact a product of Christ, which is kind of a horrifying thing to think of when you think about the last Bohemian Grove. So, you know, I offered it to God, and I do that every day. Every day I'm coming to do a show. I'm coming to be on God's show, talking to God's people in God's coffee shop. You know, like this is all a product. It's all built on Jesus Christ, which is the rock, right? It's all built on that. And if I really want to be a servant, and I really want to ask Holy Spirit to come with me and guide my words and show, I got to keep in focus what this is. This is like the Great Commission, right? Even though it's psychotic, even though NDS is psychotic, even though the Raven is psychotic, it is the Great Commission. We're trying to make disciples. We're trying to point people towards Jesus Christ. And if I'm going to ask Holy Spirit to be with, which I do every episode, then I got to realize like what I'm asking. I've built a thing, and Top has built a thing, and Matt has built a thing. God allowed us to build it. God wanted us to build it. So I asked Holy Spirit to come be like, you know, on the show with me. Yeah, Reb Sim says an unconventional church. I don't know if I'd even call it a church. I don't know. We're just called to make disciples of men. That's it. Right? So I'm allowed to do that. And I think allowed is like the main thing here. Like God had a plan. He's allowing me to do this. So God allowed for this to happen. He allowed for us to build it. He allowed for us to garner an audience. He built it. This is his. So I think he likes when you build things. And even though people build churches and they fill them with retards that wrangle snakes and they they seizure on the floor, and there's some band members that like the spotlight maybe a little bit too much and all this shit, I think God looks down and he goes, look at them. Look at these fucking retards. They're trying. Right? I mean, like, what else can we do? That's it. And yeah, that's going to be the battleground for these these entities, these demons, and you know, for Satan, the adversary, and all these things to lead us astray in any which way. And it's going to be a constant, you know, whispering in our ear to introduce something into the church that's going to act as a doorway. But like, yeah, dude, I think at the end of the day, God's just pumped that we're trying. That's it. So, all right, let's get to the next. I just like, I'm accusing Timothy Aberino of vamping. I play one voice memo and then I go off for fucking 30 minutes. All right, here we go.
Hi, David. This is Chuck from Guam. I'm
Hi, Chuck from Guam.
at work, so I won't be able to catch your show, but I'll catch it later. Just want to shout out to all the fellow retards and Nostafarians, especially those on the Telegram and the Discord and the various chats. Have a great show, and still praying for all. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Chuck. Good to hear from you, brother. This was all the way back on January 7th. I like that he's created the Nostafarians, which is all the Mr. Nasty enjoyers. Yeah, man. He says, shout out to everybody on the Telegram and the Discord and all the various chats. It's fun. I get to be sort of omnipresent in these things where, like, I get all the notifications sent to my phone. They come really fast because you guys talk a lot. They come really fast. You guys talk a lot in the Telegrams and everything, but every once in a while I'll look down and I'll just see, like, all these really dope-ass conversations happening. It's people praying for each other, people sharing, you know, supernatural testimony with each other, people talking about just the stresses of their lives or talking about God or any of these things. And I'm like, fuck, look what God let me be a part of. Right? Like, we didn't build anything when it comes to Telegram, but it just reminds me of that. If you build it, they will come. It's like, yeah, we just created these places for retards to gather and talk about God. And then they did. They showed up. And they made community happen. That's like the craziest kind of part about what we've done here is the community. Like, you know, you can kind of detach from it. You can kind of detach from it. Go to the supermarket, do your thing, whatever. But like in your pocket, there's these people talking about God and talking about dreams and talking about visions and all these crazy things, or they're just talking about their cars, or they're just talking about their lives, or they're making jokes, or they're sharing memes. But it's like, that's cool. And all we did was just say, like, hey guys, that thing is there if you want to use it. We like put in our user information and now it's there. So there's like a slot on Discord and there's a slot on, and we didn't even do that. Kenny the Fed, shout out Kenny the Fed, who made the Discord. And then shout out to Z-Man, who moderates the Telegram. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't know what moderation he's done. I don't know what there is to moderate, but I felt like he should be in charge of that. And so we put Z-Man in charge of that. But yeah, it's just cool. Fuck you. Scott, he says, don't cry, homo. Send me more hot dogs, dude. I'm out of hot dogs. Can you send me more hot dogs? I'd really appreciate it. I have Zip Zaps left. I heart the NDS Telegram. Yes, me too, Conspiracy Cutie. And now Patreon is like, you know, we're having fun. I think what I've started to do now is, like, after every episode, I'm going to create like a little post for post-episode discussion. And that's been really fun. Says Z-Man says, thanks, homie. I hope I don't mess it up. I don't know how you possibly could. I've given you something that I don't know how you would break it. And if you did, it'd probably be funny to watch. Queef Latifah says, while I'm out here gooning, a bunch of people in my pocket are blapping and guamming. Yeah, that's a little bit scary. I imagine somebody out there is struggling with gooning, and every time they're looking at their phone, drop downs from NDS chats are happening, and they're just getting constant reminders to never goon. Raven wants me to give him the glizzy. I prefer more than one glizzy. They don't have to be organic USDA beef either. I think Oscar Mayer doesn't use any kind of fillers. They don't have to be all beef either. All right. Let's get to I don't know what it is that I was worried about when it came to the hot dogs. Carcinogens? I don't know if that's even a thing to worry about. Ballpark Franks, I think it's because they're all beef. And then there's like another one. It might be Oscar Mayer. that doesn't use something that's bad, but I don't remember what it is. Oh, I love chorizo, but chorizo has to be cooked. You know what I like? I like a summer sausage, dude. Big fan of a summer sausage. A summer sausage doesn't go bad, and you don't have to refrigerate it necessarily. It keeps longer than other types of meat because it's got a high acidity. So the acid in it, no human meat, the acid in it keeps it good for longer. Dude, I like a summer sausage, dude. M. Lauren, I feel like I don't see you around these parts no more. Welcome back. Welcome, Blap. Unless I've just not been noticing that you've been commenting, in which case, my apologies. Try a Seattle dog. It's a hot link and cream cheese. You shut the... Dude, what? That's disgusting. What? A hot link? I don't know what that is. I would imagine hot dog and cream cheese? You go to hell. And I don't mean that. You know, I think we talked to somebody that doesn't think hell is real. I forgot who that was. But don't say that. Sounds bad, but it's great. Meat Cavern likes it, and he's a connoisseur of meat. Huh. Did I make the font smaller? The font should be bigger. What? I know it is big. All right, whatever. Let's listen to more voice memos.
Hey, Raven, it's John. Just wanted to call and apologize for taking up so much time. That one episode where you listened to all three of my voice memos. Sometimes I kind of ramble on and have trouble putting words together. I am pretty retarded most of the time. But you'd also asked like where I was from. I'm originally from Texas. My whole family's originally from Texas. But I did move to Eastern Tennessee, about 30 minutes from Knoxville, this past year. But yeah, hope you're doing good, man. See ya.
That was from January 9th. Dude, I hope you're doing good. Don't apologize for calling. It's a fucking call-in show. I appreciate it. I appreciate that anybody wants to say anything here. You know how much of a nightmare it would be if I was like, we're going to do a call-in show, and then nobody ever fucking called? That would suck. No need to play my voice mails as I had to cut them short. What's the first number of what they started with? And that way I'll skip them. But yeah, dude, no, that's I hear Tennessee is awesome. Tennessee was one of those places when I was thinking about where I wanted to move. I was thinking maybe Tennessee. I hear a lot of good things. Weather's nice, cool history. You know, what's the main place there? Something Tennessee. What the hell's their main city? Whatever it is, you know, I hear cool things. If I actually think Merkel's out there. One, okay, I'll look for that, and I'll skip that one. Yeah, Smoky Mountains, right, are in Tennessee. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Nashville, thank you, Z-Man. Yeah, that's like the music capital of the world or something. Gatlinburg. Memphis is another one. Yeah, I'd like to visit, actually. There was something, I think the Confessionals was going to have like a VIP meetup only. You know, what do you guys think about that? And I was considering going to it for a while, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Or my time might have actually passed. Or actually, maybe that was Blurry Creatures. I don't remember what the hell it was. Anyway, what do you guys think about that idea of what if we just kept it really small? Bohemian Grove. I don't know, like, I'm looking at the way things are panning out, and I'm like, what if we just do, like, can we sell only 70 tickets? Is that fucked up? Because if we sell only 70 tickets, then, like, both days can happen here in the coffee shop. But I'm like, I don't know, like, if that's, would people, lottery? I don't know. Everybody's number starts with a 1 if they're from the United States. All right, well, what's the next number? All right. Walking in Memphis is a banger of a song. Walking in Memphis. But then like I drag people out, you know, to perform if there was only 70 people. Is that messed up to do? $500 of tickets, I don't know. Liberty Lockdown Crew will get them all. Z-Man said there was only 2 people that canceled on Bohemian Grove for Liberty Lockdown. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. No local ticket sales. I agree. I wouldn't do that, Meat Cavern. I wouldn't open it up to anybody local. It would only be to the Patreon members, which is even that's kind of messed up because there's over 1,000 active members on Patreon, and we're gonna go only 70 of you. Feels I don't have. I think we'd be able to sell that out really quickly, no problem. But it feels a little messed up. I don't know. It just depends on how things go with this venue. But if we did it all here, that would be dope. Lying isn't a sin, right? I don't know. Is lying a sin? Is Bohemian Grove only for bros? No, of course not. Of course not. Especially because we've got a massive influx of female listeners recently because we've been hitting those social media platforms like Instagram and shit. All right, let's go to the next voice memo. Whoopsie.
Hey, Raven, it's Hicks.
What's up, Hicks?
I just wanted to call and get your opinion on angel numbers. You know, are they real? Are you seeing them all the time? I know I'm getting lit up by them, so I thought it'd be a fun topic to discuss, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for the show. Appreciate you. Later.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Hicks, for the voice memo. That's an interesting question, actually. It is something that happens a lot. You know, 333, I'll see that a lot, or 1111, I'll see that a lot. It happens a lot, and sometimes I look at it. If it happens a lot in one day, you know, like one time I was on a phone call with somebody, I forgot exactly who it was, but like we talked, the phone call started at 11:11 in the morning, and then when it ended, it was, you know, 11:22, and the phone call went for 11 minutes, and I was like, you know, 1122, and you know, sometimes when that happens, I'll go, maybe I should pay attention, like, today. Maybe I should just see if, like, you know, if there's something I'm supposed to be catching or paying attention to. But at the end of the day, I used to get, like, real wrapped up about them. Like, oh, it's so cool. But I'm in a pretty constant state of asking God to keep me on the path that he made for me. And then if I waver from it, like, get me back on that path, because all I want to do is what I'm supposed to do, what you want me to do. And I think that request yields a lot more fruit. You know, like the Alberino thing, for example. That day, my prayer was to just speak in a way that was going to keep people from being deceived and that was going to bring people to Jesus Christ, and to speak in a way where it was clear what my grievances were. You know, and things like for my voice to reach somebody who, as a consequence of it, would come to Jesus Christ. And, you know, it was a little bit more detailed than that, because I tend to talk to God on my drive here. My drive here is like a little bit over 10 minutes. So I'm doing a number of things while I'm there, and I'm sharing this process with you guys because it's what I found that works. which is like I start off, and I've said this before, but this might be new to some people, because sometimes I think, he was talking about deliverance before and how like it, maybe deliverance is weird. And Laura Baker does deliverance, and what she did really well for me was give me a scaffolding. It's like, how do I go about doing this? And she's like, I'll do this with you. Tell me what the issue is. Here's how I'm going to word it. Then once you hear it and you go through it, you can then implement it in your own life. It's like training wheels. So a thing that I found that works, that maybe is training wheels for some of you guys, and it's not really profound at all, but it's like, I always start off with gratitude, especially when I'm driving to the shop. It's like, thank you for giving me another day of doing this. Because I remember when I wasn't. I remember when I was gripping my steering wheel, hating life. Nancy and I were just talking about that before the show started because somebody's playing hooky today. And I was saying that there were times so often when I'd be like, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are there, it's just like gripping the steering wheel at 4 a.m. It's dark out. It's winter. And I'm so fucking tired. And I'm so mad that I'm going to this place that I hate. And, I did that a lot. I had jobs that I liked, but I had other ones that I fucking hated. And so, first off, just being grateful that, look what I get to do. And being grateful that I have purpose in God, and being grateful for salvation through grace, and that Jesus Christ came, and being grateful for the Holy Spirit, that, it's real and you can feel it and it gives you clarity and it reveals things to you. And so I start with the grateful thing, and then I go to repentance, which, like, sometimes it's specific. If I know I do a thing, if I haven't done a thing that I'm like fully aware of, it's just like, just a repentance and for just a life of crap and shitty behavior and whatever. And then after that, it's like asking Holy Spirit to be with me in his shop, on his show, in the studio. That works really well. So my point is to say, the angel number thing, it does give me a feeling like when I see it, but then like nothing ever really comes of it. That other thing that I just described, almost without fail, something really remarkable happens that day. So when I came away from the Alberino thing, like whatever I did right on that show was not me. Was not me. Whatever I did right on that show, any clarity that I had, any ability to articulate that I had, that was the Holy Spirit. And maybe to some people that sounds crazy, but if you knew the way that I prayed on the way to the shop, and then if you saw the things that happened from my point of view, I just don't think there's anybody I think there's going to be somebody out there who hears that and who orients the right way on age of disclosure, on, the disclosure deception, and orients towards God. So, and that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to make sure that somebody out there gained some clarity and saw what I was trying to highlight. And when we came out of that, Alpha Brain plus Jesus equals unstoppable. Yeah, dude. Well, that day I also had, because I wasn't fucking around, I had 3 Alpha Brains. And, one of these yerba mate things, I think. But I did take that very seriously. And when you ask for a thing and then it happens, like that was God. All glory to God on that. Whatever I did right, whatever comes out of that, that was good. That was God. Because the only thing that I cared about really was the few things that I really zoned in on. And it's like, so angel numbers are interesting. I don't know what to make of them. Sometimes it just seems so uncanny and so strange, but like, yeah, dude, that other thing yields fruit. So I've got to a place where I really don't care too much when I see them. Whatever time it is, 9/11 or, You know, I saw somebody in the chat was saying that their phone's at 33% or, you know, something like that. Like, yeah, those things are fucking interesting, man. And sometimes they feel weird. But that system that I just laid out of gratitude, of repentance, and then of asking Holy Spirit to help you serve, fucking that works. That yields fruit. So, but yeah, they are fascinating. I just, you know what it's like? It's interesting. We call them angel numbers. It's just such a sexy name, isn't it? My angel numbers. What does that mean? And like, guaranteed you, there's 10 chicks listening to this show right now that have 444 tattooed on them or something. I almost got 777 tattooed on me. I got 17 tattooed on me because I was born on the 7th day of the 7th month on the 7th day of the week. And I wanted 777 to mean something so bad to me because, you know, I'm a gay man. But, you know, that thing that I just told you, there you go. Elohim has 777 tattooed. There you go. That thing that I just told you works so much better. 777 is your anniversary. It's a banger of an anniversary. It's a banger of an anniversary, man. But I don't know. If you're looking for something special, try that thing that I described, because that works a lot better. Straight gays unite. All right, let's go to this one. 3 seconds. Oh, that's probably okay. I think this is yep. I know this number. This is the one I'm supposed to skip. Let's go here and start.
Hey Raven, this is Killjoy Hooligan on Instagram.
Hey, Killjoy Hooligan. Wait, before you go any further, I got to shout out one person. One person who sends us multiple DMs every day for the last year, and we never respond to them, and now we've taken it for granted that they keep coming in. But I want to say their name because the least I could do is give them a shout out for just constantly being like, yo, guys, check this cool thing out. Constantly. And I hope they hear this. Taylor LaRose on Instagram. Shout out to Taylor LaRose. Every single time I look, it says 4+ messages. And this dude has been sending us messages like a gangster with all kinds of fascinating shit. I can scroll forever and like a bunch of faggoty assholes. We've never fucking responded. And this guy's like, don't give a shit, doing it for the love of the game. I'm scrolling real far back, guys. And this guy's just been doing it. Shout out to Taylor LaRose on Instagram. Thank you for every time you see something cool and interesting on Instagram, you think of us and you send it to us. And that does mean a lot, dude. I fucking appreciate that. Shout out to Taylor LaRose. Okay, back to Killjoy Hooligan.
It's actually Cody. I just want to tell you, a long time blapper, short-term guamer.
Long time guapper, guapper. No, wait, long time blapper, short term guamer. I love that.
Love you guys. Check your inbox on Instagram, man. I want to send you a holster.
Yeah.
All right, hit me up. Have a good one. God bless. Bye.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll find you on Instagram. Send us a holster. That's dope. Killjoy Hooligan. How do I set a reminder for myself? Fuck it. Let me just open this now. And maybe I could search for Killjoy Hooligan. Oh, yeah, I know Killjoy. What do I do? I don't know how to. All right, here, let me screenshot this. That's what I'll do. And that way I can get back to him. All right. Sorry about that, guys. We just do a terrible job of getting back to anybody. And by we, I mean me. It's me. I'm the problem. I just want to go back and see Taylor is Top's mom. That's not true. That's not true. Does anybody know Taylor LaRose? Just because that guy crushes, man. No butt sex with females either. I don't know what conversation I just hopped in, but the Amanda Show says no butt sex with females, which I agree with. Don't do butt sex. It's bad. It's bad. It's also just bad for your health, right? I mean, you don't want your poopums falling out. That'd be bad. How is Amanda's food drive going? I think it's going very well. All right, let's go on to the next. Oh, which reminds me, Top went away to New York, so I'm not going to start the food drive till next week because obviously I want him to be here for it. Which reminds me, I got to fucking print out fly. Good God. Anyway, here, let's get back to this.
Yo, Raven, this is Cosmic Junebug. Listen to this shit. The anagram that was made by G. Gurdjieff.
I don't know what he's saying already, but I just like the grumble and the voice. Yo, Raven, this is Cosmic Jewel, and this is an anagram that was made. It's so funny because if you look at the transcription, I think he says Jesus, but the transcript types it Gurdjieff, Gerges. Oh, maybe he doesn't say Jesus. Maybe he does say a dude named Gurdjieff.
He's like a new age descendant master white guy. You're demon.
A new age descended master white guy. I don't know what this is the fucking best shit I've ever heard though.
Floros. Flauros. Look up his picture in the dictionary info.
So I don't know what this is. He says your demon is a Floros, Flauros. Is Floros something named Floros?
He's called Horus in the Lesser Key of Solomon, Galatia. Oh, I listened to your Timothy, whatever. Talk about Hamlet's Mill. A man, Aquarius, bull, Taurus.
Yeah.
Leo, lion.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can understand what the fuck he's saying, but he's saying that he was watching the episode with Timothy, whatever, and he's saying like, a man is Aquarius, the bull was Taurus, the Leo was the lion, Scorpio. So he's talking about that moment where Alberino was going through the constellations, which was also like the Mazzaroth, which was, and I can't even remember where the fuck we were on that. I don't even remember why we were on that, dude. Because the angels, the cherubim is just a symbolic representation of the Mazzaroth. The cherubim are just a symbolic representation of Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, and Leo. That's what he's saying. Yeah, that these are all symbolic things. These are not real entities.
Scorpio? That ain't no eagle, man. Shit.
Oh, yeah, and he was saying that Scorpio could be, in some interpretation, the eagle, because the cherubim have the head of an oxen, the head of a man, the head of an eagle, and the head of a lion. So the man being Aquarius, according to Timothy Aberino. And this, honestly, I got to admit, did feel like a fucking reach. But I'm not going to argue this point with him. I'm not going to do that. I don't care. Right? But Aquarius being the head of a man, Taurus being the head of an oxen or a bull, Leo being the head of the lion, and then Scorpio being the head of the eagle, because it's a little known fact that the eagle is interchangeable with the scorpion. Hey, dude, fucking maybe, right? Maybe. I have my doubts, but they are outweighed by my lack of giving a fuck about that at all. Which maybe that's not his fault. Maybe we asked a question and he felt the need to elaborate on that. But I couldn't care less.
Anyway, Gehenna's got a hellhound. Like Cerberus and Garm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he said a hellhound, like Cerberus. And I think now it's still going, guys. I don't think he can hang up his phone. Still going. I have a feeling that somebody called after a few drinks, which I appreciate. This is a pleasure. I thought he was putting a hex on me for a grip. He's still trying to hang up. And there it goes. Man, that was incredible. Fuck yeah, Cosmic Jewel book. Cosmic Jewel. Can you get a demon through a phone? Not me, dude. Not me. I want to go back and see what you guys said about the whole, constellations thing. BJs are the ultimate symbol of trust. She's putting your dick right next to her brain. That's true. He's faded. Is this dude in bed? Yeah. Pondering mode. Amanda says, I'm a Taurus, but I'm not into any kind of divination, but it's very deceptive of who I am or descriptive of who I am. Yeah, I would say that like the whole numerology thing and astrological sign thing does a fair job of having some keen insight into your nature. But I think part of the problem is if you accept these definitions, you begin to accept a lot of other things that they then try to tell you, like you're good with money but bad with relationships, and you're like, oh, that's so me, and now you've come into agreement with a spirit that's like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck these relationships up with you, dummy, or for you. You know what I mean? But I will say that sometimes it's so uncanny, I can't help but wonder if it's just a mechanism that God uses to make you. But I don't give that one too much thought. Alberino is a slightly beaner version of Leo DiCaprio. That's fair. Terribly handsome. He sounded pretty certain of that. Can't say for sure. Mental gymnasterino. Mental gymnasterino. Yes, thank you, Pandafly. That's a great one. Scorpio to Eagle was weird. Yeah, it feels a little weird. Zodiac is for the gays. I mean, like I said, it's a fascinating thing, and I do think that he looked high. I don't know. I do think that these spirits, they take God's creation and they invert it and they twist it. So I don't think constellations are evil. But I think to Amanda's point, it's like there's a difference between acknowledgement of a system and then a leveraging of a system to divinate. Elohim says astrology does feel like it's been subverted, can have good information and correlation, but seems clouded. Yeah, the Mazaroth. Yeah, Reb Sims says it's God's story in the stars, right? So constellations aren't evil, but I think it's kind of fascinating. Like, if this thing really does have some keen insight to you, which is interesting because it's like, who are you is kind of answered by another question where it's like, who are you in Jesus? Like, who are you in Christ Jesus? Like, what's your job? Who did God make you? And then, you have this thing that does have some insight into your personality and these attributes that seem to be unique to you. But yeah, then I think it has the ability, once you identify with it, to make you come into agreement with spirits that want you to be, it'll tell you like this month, relationships are looking very good for you, but be careful. You're coming up on a time of turmoil, and that turmoil seems to be like with your job. And then all of a sudden you start thinking about your job, like, oh, I fucking hate my job. My boss pisses me off, and I did get called into a meeting this month, and then next thing you know, you come into agreement with it, and then you get fired that month, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's like, no, you came into agreement with something that you don't understand. Sparrow says, I think God pretty plainly said that he set up that the constellations have a purpose. Yeah. Signs and time. Signs and time. Right? I believe that's what he said. So, AKA fallen angels. Right, that whole stars and angels thing is interesting. When Lucifer fell to earth, he took a third of the stars with him, and that was all symbolic, and it didn't mean anything. And have you ever been to the spirit realm? All right, let's get through a couple more of these, and then I want to go home. It's 9:02. Oh, I got one more. Have you ever been?
What's going on, Raven?
What's going on, you?
I just have a funny story that I would like to share with the group.
Hell yeah.
So I started watching you guys when your first episode came out and was a big fan. Still am a big fan. Got a little too deep into the conspiracies and the JQ.
Hell yeah, dude. Didn't we all? Didn't we all? Guys, who in here can say they didn't get too deep into conspiracies and the JQ? Some of us are still there. All good, brother.
So much that my dumbass had to get sent to therapy. So that's
Whoa! Hell yeah, dude.
a fun little thing. But I've came out on top of everything, and now I consider myself a Christian, even though I don't really know too much about it. But the straight Bible has been helping a lot, and listening to you guys definitely shaped my worldview and the good and evil aspects of things. But I just wanted to call and say hello and say, thanks for being my entertainment for the last year and a half. So yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. That's interesting. I can't help but wonder what resulted in the therapy, because I get it. When I was younger and I first started really learning about conspiracy, if I wasn't homeless and I was surrounded by happy, healthy, high functioning people, I probably would have been sent to therapy. Well, I was sent to therapy as a child. But that wasn't the conspiracies. That was just so they could put me on amphetamines. But I find it actually totally reasonable that the anger and things like the resentment and also the accusations of wild things happening on the world stage could put you there. I don't know if this is what Sparrow is talking about. Said Q is entertaining for sure. The QAnon thing definitely could have. We need to get a call-in number to Leon. Is Leon alive? Does anybody know? You would do a wellness check on him. So that's interesting, man. And I'm happy to hear that you got a handle on things now. I was talking to Fringe yesterday about it because Fringe, was that yesterday? Fringe stayed after the show, which is actually why I didn't do the Raven last night, because we were here talking to her till 6 p.m. And, she said that I'm paraphrasing, but it was experienced some hesitation in talking to us because of, who we are and the things that we say. And, particularly on the Jews, she said she was ready to fight with us on Israel if we went there. And I think she was relieved to hear where we've come to now, which is there is a remnant of God's people. These are the people that he chose. And they're surrounded by the synagogue of Satan and all kinds of shit. But you don't want to be, and this is what Matt says too, it's you don't want to be on the side that's persecuting a remnant of God's chosen people. He chose a people group and he made promises to them. And historically throughout the Bible, they fucking suck. And we all do. But they fall away. They worship fucking, fallen gods, false idols. They come back and then they fall away again. And they're just guilty of such terrible crap. And through that lens, I look at what's going on and I go, well, this probably is them. I mean, they're worshiping fallen gods, Moloch and, Baal and all these things and sacrificing children. Well, that seems to have happened too. And so it all kind of lines up. And then I go, okay, that's God's problem. And I'm not going to be responsible for persecuting them. And also, like, I'm not too worried about it because I'm saved by grace and I'm grafted onto the vine. And I also noticed that there's a huge psyop to push us to notice all the actual crimes, legitimate crimes of the Jews. And just because it's God's people doesn't mean I then have to support Mossad or fucking Benjamin Netanyahu or the state of Israel or any of these things. But I'm not going to be caught persecuting them. And so, you know, you could see the relief on her face a little bit. Like, okay, they're getting it. And then she talked about, like, you know, us dropping N-bombs and, you know, all these crazy slurs and shit like that. But that it was obvious that we love the Lord and would stand up for the gospel despite all that other crazy shit. And so she actually kind of a little bit begrudgingly came on the show because I told her that what she was talking about was important in terms of this deception. And I got to admit, like, I really, it meant a lot that she saw us in a positive enough light that she would actually say it. She would say it. Blappity Blap Blap says Fringe has libtard vibes. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. We talked to her for a long time last night. Like, it's not like that. It's not like, you know, the Israel thing like that, or like don't say, you know, the N-word like that. It was just like, definitely don't think she's got libtard vibes. But whatever the case may be, I appreciated that whatever we're doing now shows that it's like we're unafraid to say crazy shit, but we're also unafraid to proclaim the gospel. And I don't know. I'm just glad that, like, among all the things that we do, like, that does stand out. Because if it didn't, that's a problem, right? Fringe kind of looked like a witch, though. Creeps me out. That's funny. Yeah, she's got, like, intense eyes. Very intense. Kind of an intense person. But, I mean, yeah, maybe you would be, too, if you were possessed by fucking Hathor for 3 months. But yeah, she, I think she's a really interesting person. And, you know, when it comes to like the divine feminine and the new age movement and everything, like she's a really important voice. You know, because a lot of people in the new age movement or conspiracy even don't want to listen to you if you don't know what they know. And like, she fucking knows. She went through it and she came out the other end. She intimately knows. I still think Top's hair would look great like hers if he grew it out. What's that guy with the long curly hair and similar like cheek chops to Top? Frey, Guy Frey, or not Guy Fieri. Viva Frey. I think Top would kind of look similar to that dude if he grew his hair out like that. Weird Al. But yeah. I don't even remember why the hell I got on that. I got to see what. Just the fact that, you know, we went through that too. Like we went through all the crazy shit and we're still going through the crazy shit. But I think we're processing it all the right way. Fringe is kind of a cougar. Don't say that, Nick G. That's not nice. Scott was in love with her. He kept commenting romantic things to Fringe. What did he say? He said, I'd let Fringe possess me or something like that. That wasn't good. I still picture Top and Raven as Skeletor and Nacho Libre. That is, it's not inaccurate. This is a Christian show. Thank you, my tinfoil tiara. Top looks like a South American soccer player. That's actually very nice, I think. I'm glad everyone agreed. All right, let's see. We got, looks like one more.
This is Avery, Qui-Gon.
Yo, Qui-Gon, what up, dog?
I'm out here on my run. My phone's about to die.
It's 9 o'clock at night, unless you're like more west.
pretty sure you're about to end the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But, just like you and the Alpha Brand, I've been doing a lot of cocaine, fasting and praying, and I got a lot of good business ideas, dude.
I've been just like you and Alpha Brain. I've been doing a lot of cocaine and a lot of asking and praying, and I got some good business ideas.
Just kidding. Just wanted to say thanks for all you do, brother. I don't really have anything too insightful. I just feel like everybody who's found NDS in their life has probably felt like they're special in some way and didn't really know how to quantify it. And I think we found a special place to be. And you guys do awesome things. And you bring people closer to God. And I know in my walk with God down the straight and narrow path that you guys have been a great help. Sorry for all the huffing and puffing. Just out here trying to run in freezing cold weather. But, if you're not pushing yourself, what are you doing? God wakes us up every day. So we got to be grateful for the bodies He's given us and the ability to do hard things. So just want to say thank you, brother. Love you, Matt. Love you, Top. Y'all have a good night. Be good.
Thank you, dude. Fuck yeah. I appreciate that. Man, that last part really stuck with me too. The whole God gave us these bodies, be grateful for the bodies, do hard things. I've been wanting to go back to MMA for a while. But I just feel like, I don't know. I've gone for so long. Maybe I don't need to just go to a building. There's like a garage for rent right by me. Like it's only like a couple of 100 feet from my apartment. And I'm thinking about just renting it out. That way I could work on the car and I can keep my tools in there, but I could also get a heavy bag in there and just go back to, I know how to fight. I remember all the drills, fucking 75% of any MMA class or boxing class or Muay Thai class is drills. I remember all the drills. I know all the conditioning and stuff. Like I just do it. But I used to be really, really aggressively about that. Doing hard things and keeping your body in shape. 3 years ago, maybe fucking 4 years ago now, I guess it's been a while. I was retarded shredded and in the best shape of my life. And then, this is really no excuse, just complacency and laziness. Chocolate, it's so good. But it's been something I've been thinking about. I've been talking to my wife about it. My wife! Like, let's just get this garage. It's not that much money. Costs less than a fucking membership at the Muay Thai joint in Leesburg. So let's just do that. Because the Muay Thai place wants like $200 for an adult membership. So I can go twice a week. What? Fuck you. And then I got to be scrambling. Because we got the one car and it's on its last leg anyway. So I got to try to wake up, go to this thing, do a class, get back in time to do a show, and then get out of here in time to go pick up my son. And it just creates like a whole, I'd rather just be right next door in the garage, just doing drills in the bag. But yeah, man, you said something in there where you said, I think everybody who watches this show at some point in their life has felt like they're special. And that's a really, I think, a true observation. And I always felt like that. And I was telling Fringe that. And I know a lot of abductee victims get that. And I think the truth is I probably was. I've had experiences, they hit all the hallmarks. Waking up paralyzed, there's shadows in the room. I feel suddenly like I'm electrocuted and I'm filled with a sense of doom that like wasn't there until I got electrocuted. And then all of a sudden, like I'm in a different position in the room, but I'm still paralyzed. Like something moved me and there's a bright white light. Doesn't make any fucking sense. It's so bright. And my grandma's an abductee victim. My aunt's schizophrenic. My mom hears and sees little shadow people running around her house at night. And all this shit. So what I mean to say is like, I had this overt idea that I was like special or chosen when I was a kid. That's pretty common among abductee victims. They do that to you. They like put this shit in your head, like you're special, you're chosen, you're going to do something. And it has to do with like saving the world, protecting the world, being part of, being instrumental in the end of the world. And they give you dreams of like apocalyptic scenarios and tidal waves. And, you know, a lot of what I'm saying probably resonates with a lot of the people that are listening to this. I don't think I got butt fucked. I didn't get BF'd goes on watching. But I think a lot of us in the conspiracy community feel like we're special. Either because we're really close to it and like we get shit like that, like I just described, or just because we see a thing that other people can't see. And I think, you know, the demonic realm hijacks that. Pork lamp. Oh my God. I forgot about that guy. Shut the fuck up. I think they hijack that thing. And I think the truth is like, we are all special. Like we're called, we're chosen by God. But we all are, right? Jesus died for all of us. Like we are all special. And I think the demonic realm like knows that and hates that. Pork lamp is on Instagram. But like that thing in us of feeling special is only hijacked because it's there and it's potent. And I think it's there and it's potent because we're all called. You know, like David in the chat says, if you have a relationship with God, you're special. Not everyone does. I think everyone can, though. It's just a matter of like answering the call. We're all being called. Jesus died for all of us. And, you know, it's just a matter of answering that and pursuing him. I fuck with pork lamp. So yeah, man. Thanks for the call, Qui-Gon. I gotta buy the thing. I'm just gonna get the garage. And also, it's glad to hear that this is helping people's walk with God. Yeah, it's interesting, right? And I think we do this a lot. Valkyrie says, God spent an eternity polishing us. Who are we to dull our shine? I think that's an interesting thing to say because I think a lot of us... My wife was watching like 90 Day Fiance. And Nancy says, Pork Lamp admitted to having sex with his friend's underage daughter. Fuck, dude. What? I thought he was just being... I thought he was creepy. Anyway, geez, where the hell was I? So on 90 Day Fiance, there's this one guy that like basically said like he didn't feel like he was enough for this girl, which might have just been a cop out for him to like do some bad behavior and like cheat on her or something like that. But that idea of like not being enough is real. And I think a lot of people get in their own way. It's like, God called me. I'm retarded. It's like, yeah, that's kind of the point though. God saved a wretch like me. But yeah, that idea of dulling your own shine, I think a lot of people get in their own way. Y'all make this faith walk fun. Yeah, well, that's another thing too, is I don't think it has to be not fun. I think it actually is the most fun. It's the most incredible thing in the world. We spend so long looking for meaning. And then you get to have it. And then like God has picked out an adventure for you. He's given you a job, like a mission. Hold Bro Grove in my new garage and show us the chainsaw you got for Christmas. I got to bring the chainsaw here. I should bring the chainsaw here. It should be part of the decor. I think I'm going to bring it here because I simply cannot use it at my apartment. I can't do that. Fog machine in the garage. We're going to set the fog machine up for Bohemian Grove. I don't know, guys. Maybe we'll do something small. Maybe we'll do something small. Maybe we'll just do it here. Does it have to be huge? The point of it isn't to make money. The point of it is to get together with the dangerous retards. It would kind of break my heart if capping it at 70 left way too many people out. But like that's the point of Bohemian Grove. It's not like it to make money off of it. If I wanted to make money off of it, we'd look for big comedian names and we'd do the a bit. But like, I don't know. Maybe we just do it small. I don't know. Make money too, you retard. I mean, that's fair, but I don't know. I got to find a fucking venue. Cap it at 69. Nice. Valkyrie says, I'm excited for you to get this garage. I don't know if I'm going to get this garage. I've been going back and forth with my wife on it. I just keep saying, I want it. And she's like, yeah, well, we don't have a second car yet. And I'm like, yeah, but I really want to. I hate running. Qui-Gon's out there running. I do rounds on the bag. So I'll do 5 3-minute rounds, with a minute rest in between. I would so much rather do that. There's 73 people in the dangerous chat on X. That's funny. Well, 73 people. That's exactly how many people this place can hold. Hit up the Red Coat Jew. He's got a new theater, but they're flying pride flags on the outside of it. It's not going to happen. Be cool to just do a bunch of the podcast homies and do a few conspiracy roundtables. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking we're just going to do it like that. I run outside and lift in my garage. Yeah, I think, I have weights and stuff too. I have like free weights and kettlebells and shit in the house, and they're just taking up, because my apartment is like on the smaller side. I like it. It's fine. But we do have a little bit of a storage issue. I'm sure my wife would like to have my weights off the ground and my kettlebell off the ground. And, also my sauna. I have a sauna. And she hates when that thing is put up. I always have to tear it down, which means I got to dry out the inside of it. It's a big pain in the ass. It'd be nice to have it in a garage. I think I have a good argument. Sparring cardio is totally different than running cardio. Yeah, I love it. It's so much more fun. Yeah, Meat Cameron says no more gay shit. Yeah, dude, they're just going to kick us out if we fucking do. I'm going to do that again. But yeah, running is brutal. It's a great mental exercise because when you run, everything in your brain says, please stop running. Little portable sauna worth it. It's like it's literally smaller than a porta potty Def Not Xer, and it's so worth it. It's so worth it. It crushes. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. Though I got mine from Sam's Club. And if your concern is sweating, is it going to get hot enough in there? Yeah, dude. You're supposed to get out every 15 minutes. That's what it says. I stay in there for a half an hour straight. And every time it's down to the last 5 minutes, I'm like, how much fucking time is left? How much time is left? Oh my God. I got it at Sam's Club, Panda Fly. $150, I think it was. Really not bad. Yeah, I like weights and I like kickboxing, Muay Thai. Like that. That's fun. That's good cardio for me. Put on some music, dude. Music gives you an extra couple of gears. Fuck that bag up for a while. Man, I think if you did all that and then you got in the sauna, you'd die. So yeah, it's a solid sauna. Nancy says, I used to do a lot of running, bad for the knees. Sprints are better. Yeah, I'd like to do sprints. Hill sprints are cool. Admittedly, I have some reservations of looking like a psychopath, though, because there's a hill in the middle of my complex. I'm just going to fucking run up it. I don't know. That's a stupid thing. That's a stupid thing to care about. All right, it's 9:30. I got to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching The Raven. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and chatting it up. I don't know what's going on, if we got a show tomorrow. Matt is working, so I don't think that I'm going to, get together with him and do a show because he's working and Top's going to be out of town. So we might not have a show tomorrow. And then, Monday morning we have The Raven. And we'll be getting back to content. So, which means back to not being able to take phone calls and shit. Debate with Timothy Aberino tomorrow. I don't know when I'm going to release that. I'd like to release it soon. But I also like that Alberino is getting mean about it not being released. So it might make him wait. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Love you. See you Monday. Peace out.